They gave her a drink that made her briefly lose consciousness. When she woke up, Grav says she found herself tied up and restrained, and then Combs violently assaulted her.
You can't say that you don't know anything. You have to have heard a few things, you must have witnessed a few things, and you saw some stuff.
But she told just a wild story about what was going on at the...
5 new lawsuits have been filed against Sean Diddy Combs, and the accusations are deeply disturbing. These lawsuits come just before his 4th bail hearing. Among the claims, minors have reportedly come forward with videotapes alleging sexual abuse at Diddy's Miami mansion and New York home. There are also allegations that he hired male prostitutes to assault victims. The details are harrowing. Stay with us as we dive into the 10 shocking new accusations laid out in these recent indictments.
In a twilight state, still dizzy and nauseous, but semi-conscious and disoriented. As plaintiff tried to get his bearings, he realized he was laying face down across a large ottoman, with his head and arms hanging off of one side and the lower half of his body hanging off the other. His pants were pulled down to his ankles and his shirt was pulled over his head. He felt a great deal of pain and realized as he looked back that he was being anally sodomized by Combs. His vision was blurry, but he recognized Combs' chest tattoo and the large gold chain with a jeweled cross on it that Combs wore during the interview. Plaintiff tried to fight him off, but felt dizzy and sick whenever he tried to move. Additionally, Combs' bodyguard was holding plaintiff down by the...
Since November 2023, Sean Diddy Combs has been fighting a high-stakes legal battle, facing a federal case filed by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. In addition to this, over 36 criminal lawsuits have been brought by individuals alleging sexual and physical abuse at his hands. The lawsuits claim Diddy used his wealth and influence to conceal horrific acts, including paying his bodyguards to assault victims. So far, more than 100 people have come forward with accusations, and the situation is looking increasingly grim for him.
To a Diddy party at a large home in New York City. Went with friends, drank alcohol that was provided to him, and John Doe says he blacked out. Plaintiff regained consciousness. He was in a dark bedroom with black walls on a bed with black sheets. Everything around him was dark. Plaintiff was horrified to find Combs on top of him, sodomizing him. Plaintiff, in a state of shock and confusion, forcefully fought Combs off and fled the room, making his way to a nearby bathroom. Despite still being in a dazed, disoriented state, plaintiff fled the house in an effort to escape the situation as quickly as possible. He didn't return to the party after the assault. Plaintiff was traumatized by the assault and continues to experience severe emotional distress as a result of what he endured.
Attendees of Diddy's notorious freak-off parties, including A-list celebrities, models, actors, athletes, and even members of his own team like bodyguards and party planners are now speaking out about what they witnessed. According to their accounts, there was a clear pattern to Diddy's behavior. He would invite young models and artists, pressure them into uncomfortable situations, and, in many cases, give them spiked drinks before taking advantage of them. Many of these victims were minors at the time, making the allegations even more disturbing.
I could see the progression of the party and where it was going. I was fully aware of where it was going. All day everyone's drinking, all day everyone's taking drugs. Whoever participates in drugs. Everyone's all over each other by then, kissing, touching, groping. Girls are half naked, fully naked in the pool, jumping and God knows, there's loads of things that I saw. And kissing and groping and touching and fondling, and I heard in the bathrooms, walking past bedrooms, I heard going on as well. People do drugs in the bathroom, come out, see residue of whatever they just left behind with whatever the thing that they was using to sniff the substance. Once you've been there all day, where do you think it's going to go? A young lady from London, England, comes over, goes to her first party in the Hamptons in 2007, and she figures it out within the few hours that she's there, what it's about. So you tell me if they know that.
You were there, a newbie, and you immediately knew, oh, not only do I know this, but I know what was going to change.
I mean, after I'd been drugged at the vodka party, I started to think there's not it's not quite what it seems.
Right, but then you're really looking at it closely.
Yeah. Was like, I mean, you can't say that you don't know anything. You have to have heard a few things, you must have witnessed a few things, and you saw stuff. This is why it also prompted me to speak up, because at the end of the day, some people, not hardly anyone was speaking up, but the handful that did, coming out saying, it was fine, it was a normal setting, it was just a party, oh, sex, and that's just how Hollywood is. I'm just like, what kind of party are you talking about? Like, no.
Those who attended Sean Diddy Combs' infamous freak-off parties, including celebrities, models, actors, athletes, and even his own staff such as bodyguards and event planners, are coming forward with shocking revelations. They describe a consistent pattern of troubling behavior, where Diddy allegedly lured young models and artists, pressured them into unwanted acts, and, in many instances, served them spiked drinks to exploit them. Alarmingly, many of the alleged victims were minors, adding to the gravity of these accusations.
There is no way that you are in phases further down the line after the main event and you're not participating in any way. And that is when the NDAs come out. So if you are now further down the line, phase 2, 3, 4 party, you have definitely signed an NDA. Your phone is no longer with you. And I'm certain that you somehow participating in some way. There is no way, it's not a viewing party. You can't be in a room when everyone else is doing their thing and you're just observing on the sideline. There is no way. So anyone that says to me that they were part of the freak-off section of the party and not just at the main Hamptons house or main, vodka house parties, there is no way that you would be part of that and not participate.
Confirmed reports reveal that minors were present at Sean Diddy Combs' infamous freak-off parties, and Diddy even had direct contact with them. One such minor, Justin Liowski, now 31, shared a shocking story with Inside Edition. Justin has a photo from 1999 showing Diddy with his arm around him when he was just 6 years old, taken at Diddy's notorious white party. The revelation has sparked outrage, as the idea of a child attending such an event raises serious questions about the mogul's behavior and judgment.
He put his arm around me in an uncomfortable way, close to areas that he shouldn't have thrown them.
He recalls what he saw at the party.
For marijuana and topless women, that's two main things that I remember.
So, how did he end up at the party? Well, his dad, David Allen, was Diddy's photographer, taking photos of the guests at the Hampton event. Justin's mom, Maya, was there too. She said the party started out family-friendly but quickly turned wild.
People were getting high. There were girls swimming topless, young-looking girls that were, not dressed. We moved to another part of the house so that he wouldn't be exposed to what was going on.
In later years, Diddy set a curfew for the kids at the party.
Kids have hour left. Extra comfortable, they turns in the song, and we all own you.
Diddy had connections with U.S. presidents, music executives, and even the mayor of New York. It's said he used these ties to silence victims and avoid legal consequences. A good example of this is back in 1999, when he was caught with a stolen gun while fleeing from a shooting. Several witnesses said Diddy was involved, but in the end, someone else ended up taking the fall and going to prison instead.
Stupid, because you're like, you don't know what his next move is going to be. You don't know what he's going to respond or what he's going to say. And he is very, very dominant. Like, he wants to control the situation. He wants to control his inner circle. He wants to make everyone have a good time and enjoy his parties. And so, it's scary because you think, this person or possibly his social network, people he's around, could make or break your career. If you say the wrong thing or you complain or I don't know, there's an element where you just, I guess manipulated in a way to make you feel like, oh, you have to please everyone around you. You can't say anything wrong. You don't want to say the bad thing, or when they're constantly asking, do you like to do drugs? And you're like, well, I don't do drugs. And they're like, well, why don't you do drugs? And so it's a form of manipulation, and you are afraid of the new talent because you don't want to piss them off. There's so many elements to it. So you are scared. There is an element of fear, you know, and I never spoke up, you know, during that period of time because I feared for my life. Like, I was alone in New York. I have no family there. If I said the wrong thing, what could happen to me? I'm in a foreign country. It does take a group of people to come together and use their voice, but then others to feel comfortable to say the right thing as well. It does.
The federal case against Diddy is about to go to trial, but that's just one of his many problems right now. Over 30 civil lawsuits have been filed against him, and there are allegations of tapes showing Diddy involved in abusive behavior. At least 8 tapes have been given to the FBI, and 2 more are reportedly with TMZ. There are also claims that Diddy's private videos were being sold on the dark web for as much as $500,000, depending on the victim.
Those statements include descriptions of what the witness says he saw on those tapes. So I asked him about that, and he answered what he could, given the limitations imposed on him after testifying before the grand jury. Out of those 8 videos, 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women, how many of those 8 celebrities were close to being underage or potentially underage?
2 males.
2 males. And of those 8 celebrities, how many of them were intoxicated or under the influence of drugs?
This is going to be all speculation. I just want to preface it by he wouldn't know if
Appear to be.
Right.
Sure.
Appear to
Let me
be,
rephrase
right.
it.
Based on, yes.
Out of the 8 celebrities who were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs, how many of them appear to be either inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence?
All of them. All of them.
Out of those 8, how many appear to be potentially victimized? How many might have been victimizing?
I think all. To be honest, all.
Were victims or
Victims.
were perpetrators? They were all 8 were victimized, meaning this was happening to them and they were inebriated.
Right. Not knowing, I guess, how much proof it was and what it was doing.
Thalia Graves, one of the victims suing Diddy, claims that in 2001, Diddy and his former bodyguard Joseph Sherman sexually assaulted her. She says she was drugged at a meeting at Bad Boy Record Studio and lost consciousness. When she woke up, she saw Diddy attacking her while his bodyguard held her down. In a press conference, Graves shared how the trauma still affects her, causing nightmares and lasting emotional pain.
The latest woman to speak out against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is from Harris County.
Yeah, our Rick Niederaj is here with more on the lawsuit that was filed yesterday. Rick?
London Mia, these are the latest accusations against Sean Combs, and it comes about a week after Combs was indicted on federal charges alleging he used his business empire as a criminal.
Violation I have experienced during the assault has had lasting effect on my body. I've been undergoing health problems from complications. The combination of physical and emotional pain has created a cycle of suffering from which it is so hard to break free. I want to continue on this journey towards recovery and healing. I'm glad that he is locked up, but that's a temporary feeling of relief.
These are the latest accusations against Diddy, coming just a week after he was indicted on federal charges, which allege he used his business empire as a front for criminal activity. Yesterday, high-profile attorney Gloria Allred appeared with her client, Thalia Graves, a resident of Harris County, who filed a lawsuit against Diddy in New York. Graves has gone public with her claims, so her name is being used. In the lawsuit, Graves alleges that back in 2001, when she was 25, Diddy and his head of security lured her into a meeting at a New York City recording studio, where they gave her a drink that caused her to briefly lose consciousness. When she woke up, she claims she was restrained and violently assaulted by Diddy. The lawsuit also claims that the alleged assault was recorded and shown to other men. Graves says she was then threatened multiple times, which kept her silent for many years.
Another instance, another minor, told allegedly by Sean Combs that he would make him a star but needed to visit with him in private about it, away from his parents. Once they were in a private area, allegedly Mr. Combs made the victim perform oral sex upon him. Another incident, an individual 15 years old at the time, flown to New York City to attend a party, was drugged, and then taken into a private room, allegedly in the presence of Mr. Combs, where this female individual, minor, was raped, and then other individuals took turns raping her. Another individual, 26, at the time of the occurrence, was picked up by, allegedly, by Mr. Combs and several other people in a black SUV from the airport, was given one drink in the SUV, and then literally woke up the next day not knowing what had happened, but with pain and damage to both her vagina and her anus, where she then went to the hospital. She was missing her underwear and her shoes. Another instance, individual, this time not a minor, was attended a group dinner, allegedly with Sean Combs in Miami. She wasn't drinking because she was pregnant, but whatever she drank at the table, apparently, at least according to her, was laced with something. She blacked out, and she woke up in the same bed, and allegedly, Mr. Combs, in his mansion in Miami, her vagina and her anus